they think he's like the janitor mopping the mats or something.
Yeah, he's not even in contention, bro. Like, I don't even know what you're talking
Yeah,
about.
bro. Like,
so okay, I'm gonna give my nominations for fighter of the year. Number 5, I went with John Jones. I know you only had one fight, but how can you not bring up John Jones? I mean, submitting Cyril Gane in the first round the way he did. I rewatched that fight, by the way. Craziest fight probably of all time, because like I'm watching and I'm like, Cyril Gane, why are you moving the way you're moving? Why are you letting this man do this to you? And it's like, it's so weird how he submits. It's just so almost like it's
okay,
so easy.
You can't have this guy in top 5. You chickened out against Stipe. I'm vetoing this one. You can have the floor with the rest of them, but you absolutely chickened out against Stipe.
I mean, I gotta add him because it's just a shock. Like Cyril Gane was considered the next generation of heavyweight, the next generational GOAT of the heavyweight, and he just played with him. So
of course I kid, but it's like, do you know what it is? We stayed up and we've been thinking about for months how that fight's gonna go. For it to end in a minute, you're like, oh fuck.
I remember doing a film study breakdown. I was like, yeah, this is gonna be a tactical fight. I think it's gonna be a long fight. And yeah, man, Yuri versus Rakic War Yuri. I see you soon, buddy. See you soon. But yeah, number 4, I went with Justin Gaethje. How can you not add him? Beating Rafael Fiziev and Dustin Poirier, knocking out Dustin Poirier the way he did, spectacular fashion. Yeah. At number 3, I had to add Islam Makhachev. I'm not the biggest fan of Islam, but I mean, respect to him. I mean, he beat Volkanovski technically twice, and then he knocked him out in the rematch, and it was just kind of crazy. And you got to add Islam Makhachev in your list. At number 2, now this one, I think people are going to kill me for my number 1 slot because I almost went with Deshaun motherfucking Strickland.
I want to grab you through the screen already.
He fought 3 times this year, beat Nasruddin Amaev, beat Abus Magomedov, and obviously beat Israel Adesanya.
2 of the 3 were short notice, by the way.
Exactly. It's very true. Phenomenal resume this year. He just killed it this year, honestly, and just dominating Adesanya for 4 rounds out of 5. Looks spectacular. Obviously, I wanted to give it to him, but the reason why I'm giving number 1 to who I'm giving number 1, people are gonna kill me for this one because I don't think a lot of people are gonna expect this. But the reason why I went with Leon Scissorhands.
Leon Edwards.
Yeah.
I can't be mad now that you said this.
I think Leon Edwards deserves to be fighter of the year. This might be some recency bias, call what it was. Now, Colby Covington, and we'll talk about this, has literally made it so hard for me to be a fan. But we all know you boy love Leon. Now, I had to go pick who do I love more. Colby, obviously. I have a lot of respect for Colby. In 2019, I said it for the longest time. Colby Covington and Kumar Usman are the best welterweights on the planet, and it's gonna be like that for a long time. No one's gonna touch him. And Leon Edwards in 5 years' time has beaten both of them and 49-46 them in the same year. So I know a lot of people are gonna be mad, but I think Leon Edwards could be fighter of the year because of beating Colby Covington and, obviously winning the eBay fight predictions. UFC 296 was my pay-per-view, by the way. It was my favorite fighters fighting. So winning that inaugural pay-per-view, beating Colby Covington, beating Kumar Usman, I had to give him fighter of the year. You know what I'm saying? So how do you feel about the list?
Bro, I'm a real Leon fan, and I didn't think of giving him number 1. Just had to put that out there. But yeah, I do like your list, though. I will say that. I do like your list.
Whole list and Valor, where's Pantoja? Okay, I mean,
I didn't even put Pantoja because one of them he beat 2 schmucks he's already beat before.
Yeah, that is true. 2 rematches.
That was my thought process behind it.
Yeah.
And to be honest, like he was fading away in the Royval fight. Of course, Royval didn't really present him with much of a threat in the later rounds, but he was fading in that fight, and he was fading in the Moreno fight as well. But got kudos to him. He hung in and got the W's, but
Yeah.
I don't know. He won 2 decisions against one of the guys. One of the guys he'd already finished in the second round.
Yeah.
And then so for me, I was just like, I just didn't look at it like that. But my fighters of the year.
Oh yeah, let me get yours up.
Actually, I don't know why the fuck I put it this way around, but yeah.
All right, yeah, I got it. So these are Ed's nominations.
Can we swap 5 and 4 because I didn't write mine in order, but 5 and 4 I swapped around. So number 5, mine was Saint Denis. So
okay, all right,
yeah, but Saint Denis, he 3-0 this year, 3 finishes, cracked the top 15, sensational knockout MSG at my boy Matt Frevoda's expense. But this guy looks like a fucking monster at 155. He just does, and people aren't talking about him yet at 155. But if he gets a top 10 matchup and wins, then they'll start talking about him. And by then, these guys are too slow to have caught on. Me and FA know about
yeah,
and well, Saint Denis, but they, you know how it is with me and FA. We say something, and then 6 months later, these schmucks catch on later.
Yeah, it's a bit of a it's a bit of a trend lately.
But yeah, number 4, mine was Tom Aspinall. If people remember 2 years ago, people remember about the Blades fight. This was 2 years ago. Tore his knee apart, having to do the recovery and the AC, and the rehab and everything else, and not knowing if he was ever going to be the same. Beating Tybura earlier on in the year, and then I think we'd mentioned it earlier, coming to MSG on 2 weeks' notice against Pavlovich, who's everybody's talked about as being the most fearful power puncher in the entire roster, and to beat him in like a minute in the fashion that he did. And he ate punches early on as well, where people thought he was going to get slapped.
Yeah.
And the UK have finally got a heavyweight champ in mixed martial arts, and that's a big thing for us.
Yeah.
And the world's his oyster now because people are talking about fuck Stipe, let's have him versus John Jones instead. I mean, John Jones in the UK against Tom Aspinall, I'm not mad at it. I'd have to give up. I'd have to give up a lot to try and get those tickets, but
it's gonna be tough, man.
If that happens, I'll try my best to get those tickets. I'll tell you that. But yeah, I would. Again, so moving on. Number 3, Justin Gaethje beats Rafael Fiziev, who everybody said was going to murder him. The only person who didn't say that on this platform was eBay's Fight Predictions.
Yeah.
Justin Gaethje schools Rafael Fiziev, in my opinion. Looked sensational in that fight. He then turns around, fights Dustin Poirier in altitude, and then headshots him. And now we're talking about this guy fighting for a championship belt. What a way to turn it around.
Yeah.
Fought a guy who was considered elite in Dustin Poirier universally, and also fought one of the new gen guys who everybody said he was ducking.
Yep.
And humbled him too.
Yeah.
So Justin Gaethje looked sensational in both fights. And now we're talking about him fighting for a belt. So yeah, kudos to Justin Gaethje. Great performances in both fights. Number 2. The reason why I've got Islam on number 2, I'll explain why I put number 1 at number 1 later on. But Islam Makhachev goes 2-0. The first fight he wins was on enemy territory against a very skilled guy, Volkanovski, pound for pound number 1. Beat him 3 rounds to 2. Whether we agree or not, they both put in a fantastic performance, and we can't discredit either guy, regardless of how we feel about how that fight got scored.
Yeah.
The second fight got scored.
Yeah.
The second fight, however, was Volkanovski stepping on a short notice. Volkanovski is stylistically very different to Charles Oliveira, and for Islam Makhachev to still adjust in 10 days, adjust his training around, and still perform in the manner he did against Volkanovski and finish him in the first round, and by head kick too.
Yeah,
crazy shit. And we're talking about this guy. People are at the point where they're talking about this guy. What's going to happen? He's already beat Charles. If he fights Justin, what's next for him after that? We're at the point where most of us want to see him fight the same guys he's already beat in Arman Tsarukyan and Charles Oliveira. That's how the division's looking at lightweight at the moment. Anyways, number 1. That was supposed to be my drum roll, so don't crucify me. Number 1 fight of the year is the Sean Strickland.
Yes, sir.
So yeah, he's my pick. Probably a casuals pick because everyone's picked him. But do you know what? It was just a no-brainer. So between December 2022 and September 2023, when he won the belt, he had fought 4 times.
Mm-hmm.
That averages a fight every 2.5 months, considering these guys also train, go in camp, and cut weight as well, which is insane in terms of activity.
Yep.
He also performed, in my opinion, the upset of the year. Not only beating Adesanya, he beat him. He 50-45, didn't he?
Yeah, I mean,
won every single second of that fight.
No, I think was it 49-46. I think they gave
Izzy round 2, but yeah, 49-46. Not only did he beat the fuck out of Izzy, everything from the press conference to go into that part of the world, flying and contending, like I said, contending with a camp, a weight cut. He'd already fought previously earlier on in the year as well. He beat Izzy and basically he didn't really have a camp to beat one of the best middleweights we've ever seen step foot in an octagon, which is crazy to think about that.
Yeah.
And he's put it like that. He also then stepped in to fight Imavov after I thought, in my opinion, he got robbed against Cannonier, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
A month, was it what, 2-3 weeks later he fought him and then got the win there?
It's kind of crazy because he fought on the last fight night of the
year.
The
last one, and then fought on the first card of this year as well. Which is crazy.
Exactly. Yep.
Then he fights Abus Magomedov, which everybody took this guy up, despite they've never seen anything on him. Just saw that he got a couple of highlight reels, and they said, okay, he'll fight Sean.
Yeah,
Sean beats him, puts a whooping on him.
Man,
I've never seen someone get whooped that bad. And people forget this earlier on. Sean got eye poked very badly early on in that fight.
Yep.
Very badly.
Let him know, Ed. Let him know.
I'm going to cook now. He could have pulled out that fight and bitched out, but he didn't. He stuck through, and he overcame everything, and he put a whooping on him. He opened a can of whoop ass on that schmuck.
Yeah. So
we got through there. Then obviously he turns around, fights Izzy, wins the belt on Izzy's turf, which is amazing. But it's not even that. That's the accomplishments in the octagon's one thing, but outside of the octagon, he's become relatable with people. He's become a bigger star, a bigger name. He's got his name out there. He's making money outside of the octagon as well. Everything from the clips with Nina Drama, everything with even at 296, him kicking off with Drickus and stuff like that. He's just getting his name out there, and he's. If we can say one thing 2023 has brought us is that they've brought us a potential star in Sean Strickland, and that's why he's my fighter of the year.
Yeah, man, Sean, he killed. That was the guy I really wanted to give it to him. And people might call my fight of the year thing crazy, but man, his year was just so having 3 fights, and it felt like you saw him kind of like grow. His storyline to the belt. It was so crazy, and for him to win that belt and for that to be the climax, you saw him fight Nasir Damayev, and he was a joke. All right, he's the guy that got knocked out by Alex Pierre. What is he doing, right? But he takes the fight on short notice, wins it. Then he goes on Joe Rogan after beating Abus Magomedov in the summer, right? Makes the Dagestani quit, right? And he tells his story about, his dad and his life and this and that. And he's hating on Izzy. And everyone's like, oh, Sean Strickland, this and that. Why is he talking crazy? And then he takes the opportunity of a lifetime against the guy he was hating on, or the guy he called out on his bullshit, right? For being a bit of a narcissist, a bit of a prick kind of champ, and dethroning him. And just, you could see his storyline and his character progression to that moment, winning the belt in the biggest upset, of the year, and just showing the whole world hey, you can do anything if you put your mind to it. And it's just a great story, I think.
Yeah.
Sean, you can make a movie about him, he just has a lot of Steve Austin in him, you know what I'm saying? He just is relatable, and it was one of those fights where it's just like, wow, man, it was awesome to watch, man. And Sean is, even though he's not the funnest fighter to watch, the guy gives it all, all he got, and I respect that.
Yeah, that's one thing I agree with you, is that obviously we see fighters lose decisions and stuff, but one thing you can't say about Sean and the time we've been watching him is that you can't say he's ever, one, bitched out, or two, just quit. He always keeps going, You see certain fighters, they're dejected and they just don't try and win. It's almost like getting to the final bell is good enough. It's like they can say, "Oh, I've only lost by decision."
Yeah,
it's like this guy always keeps going.
Yeah, man. And yeah, it was crazy. But yeah, that is it for our year-end awards. I mean, this was fun, man. I thought this was actually really, really good. But I mean, obviously, we got to talk about some UFC